Fine. So let's start with the training. Okay. So initially I have gone through the course FAQs and little introduction, right? Let's start with the brief history of Selenium as well as future, that where this tool is going. Okay. Look, I worked on this tool for the first time somewhere in 2007. Okay, and since then it's changed a lot and a lot of components have come up in the tool Selenium. Right. Now first of all, Selenium is an open source tool. It's a free tool. Anybody can work on it, and it's only for web-based apps. It cannot test your desktop-based apps. It can only test your web applications. Fine. The official website for Selenium is seleniumhq.org. This is the official website. If you go ahead, then the first line says that Selenium automates browsers. It's only for web-based automation. Okay, right. So this thing is clear. Now the second thing is, what are the components of this tool and what all we want to learn and what all we will be learning. Okay, look, initially there were three components of this tool. The first component was known as RC, Selenium RC, second IDE, and the third one is GRID. Okay, Selenium RC is, or Selenium IDE, let's talk about IDE. IDE, it is still used in the industry. It is primarily a record run tool. Okay, record run feature is there in every automation tool. Okay, right. Record run is there in every automation tool, and you know, it's not practical. Record and run is not at all practical. It is something like you record certain flow and after that you play it, but you know, these days websites are dynamic. Everything changes on the website every day, so you just cannot record today and say I'll run it tomorrow. For example, a website like say CNN.com, right? If I want to automate this site, right, and look, this site changes every day. The complete layout of the site changes every day. Okay, right. So you cannot just today record that I will click on this link and tomorrow again I will come and click on this link. So the link will change. So record and run is not successful these days. We have to write some code, some logic, some script. Okay, that's why Selenium RC is there. Okay, Selenium RC can test your application in multiple browsers, and the code can be written in a dynamic way, wherein the IDE is primarily a record and run tool which only works on Mozilla and generates no reports. RC works in multiple browsers, works in a dynamic way, and you can generate report as well. But the thing is, for RC you have to learn a programming language. A tester has to learn a programming language, and you know, you have to actually you can say that you have to be good at programming. It's not just that you just have to learn the programming language. You have to be good at programming, right? Programming language like Java, C#, Ruby, or anything, right? But there were various drawbacks in RC. Okay, there were various drawbacks. I'll not talk about those drawbacks. There were drawbacks. So people came up with the new tool WebDriver somewhere near July 2011. Okay, WebDriver came up in July 2011. It is also known as Selenium 2. It can also do the same thing. It works on multiple browsers. It can generate reports. It can work in a dynamic way. Okay, and you have to learn programming. But it had, I'm sorry, it had more features than RC. Okay, this tool had way more features than RC. Right, and it became an instant hit in the market. And in this training, we'll be studying WebDriver. We'll not be studying RC because RC is outdated now. Nobody uses it. Okay, IDE is still there in the market. Okay, IDE is still used at times, but I don't prefer using it. And GRID is also used. GRID has evolved into GRID 2. Okay, what is GRID? GRID helps us to run the test cases parallelly. You automate your test cases using WebDriver. Okay, and what GRID will do is that GRID will help you set up a hub and connect nodes to it and automate the test cases and run them parallelly on different machines. So we'll be studying GRID in this training as well. So this was a brief background of what Selenium is and where is it evolving. Okay, the next phase is mobile automation. Okay, in right now the version for Selenium is 2.52. Okay, somewhere near the version 2.2, these Selenium guys, they brought in the support for mobile automation. Right, then it was removed. Okay, they removed it, and a new tool came up in the market, Appium, which can test your mobile apps as well as web apps. Okay, and this Appium tool, it's again a hit. It is built on top of Selenium. To learn this tool, the prerequisite is you need to learn Selenium. Right, and then you have got tools like Protractor coming up for AngularJS applications. Right, so again you need to learn Selenium for that. So it's evolving. It's not evolving in one direction now. Okay, it's an open source tool. This is Selenium. It is evolving in many directions. So after learning Selenium, you have to decide in which direction you want to go. So this is one of the things in open source. You know, it's quite vast. Right. So anyways, we'll concentrate on Selenium in this course. Right. Yeah, I'll talk about these things. Don't worry about that. Okay. I'll tell you how to run the scripts parallelly and all everything. Okay. Right. So now the next thing. Hold on. The first thing is that you need to learn Java and install Java. It's not just Java. You have to install JDK. Okay, most of the people might not be having it. Go to Google and just type download JDK. Okay, this is very important. Okay, Java Development Kit. You need to install JDK. You can download from this website. Okay, out here, go to Java download section and you can install JDK for your machine. Whatever is your, most of you will be having a Windows 64-bit machine, which is this one. Okay, fine. And once you have installed JDK, just a minute, guys. I'll give in the meeting link. Right. Once you have installed JDK, fine. You have to download Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse is the editor for Java language and prefer to work on Eclipse Luna. Right. There are reasons behind it. I'm not telling you the reason right now, but download Eclipse Luna. Alright. So you go over here and download it. Look, many things will look very simple for many people on the first day. Okay, but be with me. As we proceed, we will jump over to a lot of things. Okay, so you download Eclipse Luna from here. It will come as a bundle. In my machine, I have kept it over here. Okay, when you open Eclipse, you'll see the application file. You just start running it. Okay, Eclipse will launch. Fine. You have to give the workspace path. This is the path where you will be storing all the code and all everything. Okay, I'll just call this workspace as Feb weekday. Okay, or rather it is March only now. March weekday 2016. Okay, so this is the place where we'll be storing all the code during the training. Okay, this will be our workspace. Fine, but JDK is important. JDK is mandatory for working with um, Eclipse. Okay, without JDK you cannot work with it. Right. So this is Eclipse. You can close the welcome screen. Fine. Most of you must have worked on Eclipse, right? So over here, now two things. In this training program, I'm assuming that you have a basic knowledge of programming. Okay, at least you know what if statement is, what loops are, right? What in programming language functions are. Okay, some variables are. So I'm assuming you have the basic knowledge because I cannot start from that fundamental level. Okay, if you're a person who is very afraid of programming, who has not done programming, who is not comfortable with it, right, you can also get the access to the videos first on the website. Okay, the pre-recorded sessions which are there on the website, they cover everything. Okay, right. If you go to the website qtpselenium.com, there are some pre-recorded sessions. You can take access to them. They cover programming language Java in very much detail, in more detail than I take up in the class. Okay, probably you can watch them, get some background, and later on join the training by paying the difference fees. Okay, so that will help you a lot. Fine. Now, anyways, let's move forward. Okay, this is Eclipse. Here we'll be doing the coding and all everything. Fine. Now, before I move over, the most important thing is Java, and especially the concepts of object-oriented programming. Okay, because this is what the mistake is done by most of the people who are trying to learn Selenium. They don't focus on Java. They don't learn the OOPS concepts, or they think that they know it, but practically they don't know it, how to implement it, right? Or the interfaces and all, right? If you look at the documentation of Selenium, right, every tool has a documentation. Similarly, Selenium as a tool also has its documentation. If you go to the download link over here, you will find the documentation out here in the Java docs available. Fine. If you want to read this documentation, that how Selenium works, this is the documentation. You will not be able to figure out anything from this. You need to have the concepts of object-oriented programming very clear. Fine. So I'll jump over to those concepts as well. Fine. Let me give me some time. Right. First of all, I'll make a new project over here. A new. Go to other, and under general, you will see a simple project. Okay. Create a new project. I'll call it day 1. Fine. And this project would be made in your Eclipse. Right. Hold on. Just a minute. Nothing's coming up in this. Just 1 minute. What's happened? File new. Hold on. Project. Okay, go under Java and create a Java project. Okay, you need this source folder as well, and under Java, you create it from there. New Java project, and you will have a new Java project generated, and you will see that it's got the source folder under it. Okay, right? And there is something known as JRE system library. This is nothing but Java which is installed in your project, okay, or Java which is installed in your machine, right? JDK and all and JRE which we are installed. So it is picking up Java. So in the source folder, we'll be writing all the code and all everything. Let me make a simple Java program. I'll create a new class over here. Right click on the source folder, new class, right? And I'll call it as sample.java and this is the program. Hold on, let me increase the font size. Just a minute. Things might look very simple to you on day one, right? But just be with me, right? So over here, you just write like say system.out.println learning basics. Okay, system.out.println is the command to print something in Java, right? The shortcut is that you can type SYSO and hit the control space bar of your keyboard. Okay, right. So main is the function. It is there in every programming language, right? And almost every, it's a starting point where the program starts, right? Now, what is static? What is public? I will discuss all these things as we proceed with the concepts of OOPS. So just digest them as they are. Just to keep them in your mind, right? We will see what these things they mean. Fine. In Eclipse, you can run your program. There is option to run sample.java out here. You can click on it and it will print learning the basics. Fine. So this is little basics about Java. I'm assuming you know what an integer is. If I write int I equals to 100, or what a string is, string s equals to hello, or what a for loop is, right? So I'm assuming all those things, right? Now, what my focus is to help you learn OOPS, fine, which I will come over to, right? Now, if I'm running this program, right, it is printing learning basics, and if you look at this project, okay, and if you right click on it, you will get lot of options. We use these options very frequently in while working with Selenium. For example, okay, your friend has made a project in Selenium, or for example, I am making this project, day one project. I give you this day one project, right? How will I give you the day one project? In email or something? I can right click on the day one project, go to the properties. This is the resource property under which you have the path of the project. So I can go to this path where day one is lying, and I can probably zip this day one folder and send the folder to you. In this day one folder, under the source folder, you will have the file sample.java and all everything. Right. So once you receive this day one project, how do you bring it into Eclipse? You can go to File, Import, and under General, go to Existing Projects into Workspace, and you can browse for the project and import an existing project into Eclipse as well. These are small things, but you know, these things are the constant things with which people come to me, that how do I import the project which you have made in your class in Eclipse. You can do it with file import. If you want to rename the project, hold on, you can also do that. Okay, you can click on F2, the shortcut is F2, you can rename the project. Sometimes what happens is that it will happen in our training as well, right? This is day one project on my hard drive. Sorry. Okay, I'll go to this project day one, right? Inside this project on the hard drive, I see so many folders, files. Instead of going to Eclipse inside the project in the hard drive, I make a new Excel file and call it anything, say data.excel or whatever it is. I keep it inside the project in the hard drive. But this Excel file will not be visible out here in day one. Okay, so you need to refresh your project. If you refresh your project, this Excel file will come up over here. So these are small things, but quite important. Okay, right. Now, if you look at the project in the hard drive, you will see that you will only see the source folder over here. And in the source folder, you will see the same sample.java file which is there in the project. Okay. Now, if you go inside the bin folder will have sample.class file. What is class file? If I try to open this class file, I will not be able to understand anything. Every Java file is converted to a class file. Even if when you run it and compile the program, every Java file is converted to a class file. If I create a new Java file, okay, known as say temp.java, just like that, right? And just print inside it system.out.println. We are learning. Okay, and if I run it, it prints we are learning. If you look in the bin folder now, you will have temp.class file generated. So at compile time, you have the Java file, every Java file converted to a class file. Okay, the class file, it is like an executable. Okay, it's like an exe file in Java which will execute. You deploy this class file on any server or something, okay, it will execute. When the developers they say that they are doing a deployment, they are actually deploying these class files. Okay, look, what happens is that in one project generally lot of Java files are there. There can be 1000 Java files. So corresponding to 1000 Java files, 1000 class files will get generated. And suppose you want to deliver the project to the client, you want to deliver the class files to the client. Okay, then what we do is that we zip or we bundle all the class files in a single file. This single file is known as a jar file. Okay, jar file has got many class files inside it which can be reused. Okay, and this is given to the client, a single, it's like a zip file you can say, right? For example, I told you this is JRE system library which is actually installed, which actually is the Java which is installed in your system. Okay, and Java is nothing but collection of various jar files. You see all these jar files? Okay, these are each jar file over here. It contains lot of class files. For example, if I expand this file rt.jar, it will have many class files under it. You can use the features of these class files. Okay, how do I use them? I will tell you. Okay, for example, if I write over here system.out.println new date. Okay, I import this. Forget what new date is, but date is one of the classes which is present somewhere in these jar files. Date class was made by the person who made Java, the company which made Java. Okay, they made this date class. They have given it to us to use it as a pre-existing feature. Okay, so when I run this program, it prints the current date, time zone, day and all everything. So the date class, it is inbuilt. I never had to do all the hard work to get the complete information about current day, date, time zone, year, everything. So it was inbuilt. This is an inbuilt class present somewhere in one of these jar files. Okay, and I used it. And Selenium is all about this. In Selenium also, all the features are inbuilt. There is no rocket science involved. You don't have to do anything from your side. You have to have the knowledge or understanding to read this documentation of Selenium. These are all the classes in Selenium. Okay, the first thing is that you need to download Selenium on your machine if you want to work on it. You need to download the jars for Selenium. This is the download link. Okay, for Java. You can download it from here. Hold on, let it download. Meanwhile, meanwhile, as I was telling that everything in Selenium is inbuilt. You don't have to evolve into something. You don't have to, it's not that you have to innovate something or no. It's just like this date feature I've used, right? And that's it. You need to know the commands and all, and then you need to know how to write the programming logic. Okay, right. So hold on. I'll take this thing, put it over here. So this is the zip file you get. You extract the zip file and you will get the latest version of Selenium, which is 2.52 right now. If you open this folder, there is no exe for Selenium. You will have two jars over here, 2.52.jar and 2.52 sources, right? And along with it, you will have the other jars in the library section of Selenium. Okay, so you need to include all these jars, the ones which are present out here. You don't need the sources jar. Sources jar actually contains the source code of Selenium. Selenium is open source, so you don't need this jar. You need this jar and the jars under the library folder. And you need to put these jars in Eclipse. Like for example, you have the jars for Java by default in Eclipse, right? You need to put these jars in Eclipse so that you can start working with Selenium. Okay, so to do that, you again right click on your project in Eclipse and go to the properties section and go to Java build path, right? There are many options. Go to Java build path. You will see 4 tabs over here. Go to the libraries tab. You will see GRE system library is already a part of this project. Okay, and then you click on add external jars. Fine. Okay, and hold on. Go to the location where you have kept the jar files, right? Include the jar. I want this jar. Include it. It will come up over here. Along with it, don't forget to include all the jars under lib folder. Control A, select everything and include all the other jars as well. So as soon as you click on OK, you will have the reference library section generated over here, under which the jars for Selenium will come up. Okay, so your project is Selenium enabled now. Selenium doesn't come up, Selenium is not an exe. There is no exe for Selenium. Like if you want to install QTP on your machine or UFT, you install an exe. For Selenium, there is no exe. Okay, moreover, if you don't see the reference library section, you need to switch to the prospective Java. Click on this button. You see this button? Click on it and then select Java Prospective. Okay, you switch over to Java Prospective and then you will see the reference libraries. Now, for example, I was telling you that in Selenium everything is inbuilt, right? If I write over here new Firefox driver, okay, many of you must have done this. Okay, Firefox driver is an internal class somewhere inside the jar files of Selenium, right? It helps you to automate Firefox applications in Firefox. If I run this, you will see that by default a blank Firefox window will open up. You see this, right? So You didn't do anything to launch Firefox. You never called the exe of Firefox or something. So everything is inbuilt. That's what I'm trying to tell you over here. So you need to use the existing classes and you create the objects of existing classes. This is known as creating the object. Okay, let me tell you about objects. Fine, but before that, let me start with object-oriented programming and all, because I don't want to jump into Selenium commands right now before I teach you OOPS concepts, right? But before I do that, anybody with any questions regarding the course, regarding whatever I've taught till now, regarding the training, anything, please feel free to ask. You can add me on Skype. My Skype ID is QTP Selenium 1, numeric 1. Okay. Or you can reach us through the chat as well on the top, or you can unmute yourself and speak. I'm sorry. Anybody with any questions?
Hey Ashish, this is Saurabh.
Yeah.
I have one question regarding the exercise we have in all the modules. Where do we get to see the answer sheet if we have any?
I have the answer sheet with me. I have not posted it. You can send me an email. I'll send it to you.
All right, thanks.
Okay. I deliberately didn't post it. Yeah. Yeah, Gavin. Yeah, no problem. You joined late, not a problem. Today is just beginning the introductory class. Okay. The real class, I'll tell you, the real classes will start from day 3. Okay. Actually, you'll see something happening on day 3. Okay, and day 4 and all. And right, because the first 2 days they just go in basics of object-oriented programming and all, because that is what it's actually required. Because people, they come to me thinking that they know Java, but they don't even know what static is and what is the difference between static and non-static. Okay, right. Yeah, Bina, you can take it. Yeah, tell me.
I just wanted you just said that if we want to send this project to anyone, we can copy all the class files and send it back to the person or to the client, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So my question is like, so we first create the project day 1. So
Yeah.
when we are sending those class files, and when I import those class files, this project would automatically be exported, or do I need to use that project?
No. Hold on. You just right click on the project.
Yeah.
Go to the properties.
Yeah.
Okay, and go to the path where project is lying.
Right.
Okay, and then you can zip this project and send it to the concerned person. You can open it.
So, like, if I do not want to give them my code,
then you go to the bin folder and send them the files, the class files.
Okay, so these class files are the separate modules or the scripts, right?
Yeah.
So, but when I need to give them the entire project, and usually clients are non-technical, in that case, if they want
No, we create an exe for them. There is a way to do that. We create a bat file and all. I'm not going into that right now because that is not required in Selenium. Okay, you can execute these from command prompt as well, or you can create a bat file to execute them. So, but we don't do that right now. Okay, I don't want to go into that. I'll tell you about bat file and all as we proceed. But for time being, just understand that there are ways, simple ways in which we can run these class files as well, or we can ask the client to run them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And second thing, like, are you like part of this training? Is the how to create the framework? Is it part of?
Yes. Look, the thing is, there are different types of frameworks. Data driven is there, keyword driven, hybrid, page object model. Obviously, I cannot discuss all the types of frameworks in a single class, right? I will discuss one of them, and along with the training, as I told you, we give access to the video tutorials, the pre-recorded sessions. People who have paid the fees, I think they must have got these access. Right. So in the training videos, I have discussed all the frameworks. Like for example, 20th video is data driven. Then 21st is a hybrid framework. Okay. So we have discussed all of them. Any one of them I'll take up in the training. You can see each one of them is over 8 hours in the videos itself. So these are quite vast. Right. So anyone with any other question? Okay, there's a question being asked that I'm a little afraid of Java. Look, this is the first day everyone almost asks me this question. Look, Java, you cannot get rid of it. Okay, you cannot ignore Java, but it is not as tough as you are afraid of it. Okay, it's a very easy language. I'm not asking you to learn to a level to which the developers they learn. I'm asking you to learn to a level with at least you can start off and kick yourself into Selenium, right? So at least little parts of core Java, right? So no, Bina, you can ignore manual. Look, I'm from a development background, new to testing, so Selenium manual testing. So the question being asked is that a person is from development background, so should he be knowing manual testing for Selenium? I would say no. To be very honest, I was also from a development background and I jumped into Selenium and testing and automation and performance testing in 2007. I don't also have a relevant background in manual, but I have a very rich experience in automation. Like I have automated a lot of stuff. You can do it. That is not a problem. Okay. So, uh, anybody with any other question?
Ashish?
Yeah.
Ashish, quick question, Ashish. On the data XLS sheet, right?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
use it? Yeah.
I created, actually I told you that sometimes what happens is that in the projects and all also we will be doing, this is your, hold on, this is your project. Okay, suppose in the project you create a new file. I create a new text file, hello.txt. I will not be able to see this in Eclipse. If you want to see it, you refresh your project, the shortcut is F5, it will come up. Okay, so that's the thing. Because sometimes what happens, your friend sends you a file or your colleague sends you a file, right? You want to copy paste the file, so you copy it over here on the hard drive, it doesn't come up over here. Okay, so you can also copy paste stuff directly in Eclipse as well, right? For example, I have a file, for example, I have this PNG file. Okay, I copy it and I can go to Eclipse, directly paste it in Eclipse as well. Control V, you can paste it. You can copy the Java programs and all from Eclipse as well and paste it on the hard drive. That is possible. Okay, these are small things, but you know they help you a lot if you know them. Because sometimes what happens, you want this Java file, and you can simply copy it instead of going to the hard drive and copying it, and you can paste it anywhere else. How much Java is enough for Selenium? Look, I would say core Java is more than enough. Okay, good knowledge of core Java is more than enough for Selenium. Okay, you don't need anything beyond that. Okay, and whatever I'm teaching in this training, whatever is there in the videos, it's more than enough. Okay, you don't need to do more than that. Till training video 7, I have Java. Okay. So,
Ashish,
yeah.
some people, they ask me to tell about, what are the advantages when compared to IDE. What are the advantages we have in WebDriver.
Okay. Look, the first and the foremost advantage, if you talk about IDE and WebDriver,
yeah.
Okay, if you have got 1000 test cases, let's talk practically. There is a project with 1000 test cases.
Yeah.
Right. So If you automate those 1000 test cases in IDE, you will never be able to generate reports, default reports or something.
Okay.
With WebDriver, you can generate very good reports.
Okay.
HTML reports and all. Secondly, with WebDriver, you can test it on multiple browsers, i.e. Firefox, Chrome and all. With Firefox, with IDE, you can only use Firefox.
Okay.
And the third and the most important thing is, when we write code, we can write a dynamic code. Suppose I have a web page, I want to go to that web page, print the names of all the links on the page. I want to write a script for this. It is not a very easy task in IDE to do this. In WebDriver, it's very easy.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've downloaded 4.9.8.42. It's okay. You know, the question being asked is my current version for Selenium is 2.49. Okay, and I should I download 2.52? It doesn't matter actually, guys. Since 2.0 to 2.52, the majority of the changes, 70% of the changes have been bug fixes. Okay, whatever had to be made in Selenium has already been made. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Now, even if you use 2.3, it's okay. At least for learning purpose, it's more than enough.
Ashish,
Yeah.
basically I want to know what's the difference between Selenium and Selenium Server 2 different.
Pardon, can you repeat? Your voice is very low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Tell me.
Basically, like, what is the difference between Selenium IDE and Selenium WebDriver? Why is Selenium provided two kind of versions?
Look, the difference when you work with IDE, you work in Mozilla browser only. IDE only works in Mozilla. It gets installed as add-on. A WebDriver will be in Eclipse. You'll have to write the code and all everything. Okay, in a layman's term, IDE only works on Mozilla. It generates no reports, nothing. WebDriver is something which requires you to do code, and you need to use a coding language for that.
Then what's the use of IDE?
Look, IDE is you suppose I have an application of only 2 pages. I just want to automate it. You can use IDE. It's not a very, you can say, taxing automation process, or it's not a very huge automation task. Okay, it's a very small task for automation. You can use IDE, wherein the criticality is not very high, that even if it fails, it doesn't matter. You don't need to generate reports. You don't need anything. Such kind of a work you can do in IDE. Okay.
Thank you.
Ashish, one more question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This TestNG, Marvin, are these the reporting tools, or why do we use them in Selenium?
Look, I cannot tell you about Maven right now because it will become too complicated, but I'll tell you about TestNG. Okay, look, Selenium as a tool will help you automate the applications. This is the browser. If you want to automate the process on the browser, you use Selenium. But when you work practically, you make test cases, right? Okay, suppose you have to make test cases. These are the test cases. When you make test cases, you want to generate some reports. You want to read the data from, say, the Excel file. You have to generate logs and a lot of things, and you want to execute the test cases in a batch, in a certain order or something. So for all these things, we use the testing frameworks like TestNG, right? Okay, or JUnit or something. They help you to read the data from the Excel file, run the test cases in a certain order, okay, generate the reports. Right, Selenium will only be inside the test cases. Selenium will only interact with the browser, but Selenium will not generate reports for you. Selenium will not have the features wherein you can batch execute your test cases. So Selenium is only a tool which has got commands to interact with the browser. But as a tester, you need 100 different things. You need to take screenshots, store them somewhere. You need to read the data. You need to write the data somewhere, and a lot of other things as well, logging, reporting. So for that, to facilitate everything, you introduce TestNG. TestNG helps you to do all these things.
In that case, testing, is it a plugin or it's a complete software?
It's a plugin, it's a tool, it's a complete tool.
Which we need to install.
Yeah, I'll talk about it in the training.
And Maven also, are you going to talk about in the training?
Yeah, I'll talk about Maven as well. Okay, Maven helps you to maintain the version of the jar files and all, and also execute it. So I'll tell you, just to be with me. All right. Okay, so anything and anybody with any other question?
Ashish, we are going with the Jenkins also right now. Yeah, I mean in this course.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for continuous integration.
Yeah. Sometimes people are asking me how can we integrate Jenkins, or how can we install Jenkins in our mission, whether it is an add-on or these kind of questions I am getting from the people.
You will understand. It's not a very difficult thing, Jenkins.
Okay.
Not at all. It's not at all a difficult thing. It's very easy.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. What about SVN and all? Look, in the pre-recorded sessions, I have talked about SVN. Okay, just be with me. You'll come to know everything in the course. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, fine. So this was the day one. A lot of people have questions, right? So I actually keep time for all these questions and all. So anybody with any other question? Yeah.
In the email that I received, it said these courses will be during weekday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's from Monday morning Indian time to Friday morning, which is Sunday evening US time to Thursday evening US time, 5 days a week.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hi Ashish, this is Jamie here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, tell me.
Actually, once the daylight saving is off, will the timing change?
Yes, we'll discuss about the timings at then. When is it happening in US?
I think it is March 3rd, if I'm not